Hi, my name is David, I'm in Taiwan, and this is Taiwan in English. In today's exciting episode, we will be talking about the US presidential election that took place on November 5th, 2024. Presidential elections in the US can be a little confusing, and some of the terms and phrases that get used don't get used in any other context. The two that seem to cause the most issues are popular vote and electoral college or electoral vote. The reason behind people not understanding or getting confused by them is that they don't really understand a couple of simple things. The first is that the US is not one country. It's a bunch of countries that came together to form something of a super country called the federal government. The laws that a state makes only apply to that state. California cannot make a law and then charge someone in Texas for violating it. A law that the federal government makes applies in any place controlled by the US and to every citizen of the US. Because they are so far-reaching, there are a lot of limits put on what can and cannot be a federal law. There are a couple of membership tiers for places in the US. A full member is generally referred to as a state. Four use the word Commonwealth, but they mean the same thing. There is also Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. There are territories, and there are 5 of those. Guam, Northern Marianas Islands, Puerto Rico, and the United States Virgin Islands. And there's also American Samoa. The last one is a little different from the others. We'll get to it in a moment. Anyone born in any of these areas, states, districts, or territories, except American Samoa, is an American citizen. American Samoa and a few other places are American nationals. It's complicated, I'm sorry. Anyway, this type of citizenship is called birthright citizenship, and it is a requirement to become president of the United States. And while there is some discussion about changing how it works with regards to non-citizens that just happen to be in the US when they give birth, as of recording, anyone born in the US is a US citizen. Anyone born outside of the US to 2 US citizen parents also has birthright citizenship. If only one parent, it's complicated. Citizens that live in states get to vote for their representatives in the federal government. Territories do not. They can and do send non-voting members, so they have a voice, but they aren't states, so they don't get a vote. That means that US citizens that do not live in a state do not get to vote for president. Does that mean that their vote has been taken away? Isn't the US a democracy where one person, one vote? No, it's not a democracy. It's a republic. I know they mean almost the same thing, but when people pull out the democracy card, they usually mean they want more of a say than they get in a republic. Really though, it's because of the second thing that people don't think about. The President of the United States is not a representative of the people. The President of the United States is a representative of the states. The election on November 5th was a vote for each state to determine who goes to Washington, D.C. on December 17th to actually vote. Does this mean that there is still a chance that someone else might become the next US president? There is a thing called a faithless elector. They vote for somebody other than who they said they would. And there have been 90 of them in presidential elections. They have never switched an election, and most states have laws that prevent it. So, is it possible? I guess. Is it going to happen? I can't imagine a world where it would. I'm writing this on December 1st, so I hope I don't have to eat my words. So, why is there an electoral college? Balance. The US federal government is a compromise. Since the very beginning of the US, there have been some states that had more people, citizens, than others. The states with lots of people want to use their population to make laws that benefit them. And states with small populations are afraid of something called the tyranny of the majority. Just because a majority wants something does not mean it's right. You might have heard this described as two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. The first balanced compromise was in the Congress, the part of the federal government that makes laws. The Congress was divided into two separate houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate. The members of the House of Representatives have always been elected by a popular vote in their districts. But originally, the Senate was elected by the state legislature, the state government. This changed in 1913, and now senators are also a popular vote of the whole state. After the division of the legislature, they had to compromise on how many representatives would be in each. The Senate was pretty easy, since regardless of what number they picked, every state was going to get the same. They settled on 2. The House was a whole other barrel of fish, and like a barrel of fish, it didn't smell very good. There are some really, really dumb things in that compromise. I'm not going to go into it here, but it took a civil war to straighten it out. When electing a president, each state, and only states, well, except for DC, get 1 vote for each of their representatives. So, at a minimum, each would have 3 electoral college votes, 1 for each of the senators and 1 for the minimum number of House representatives. In 1961, DC was given an electoral vote count that equaled the state with the least, 3, making a total electoral vote count of 538, and 270 votes wins. The combination of limiting the size of the House and the design of the Electoral College protects states with small populations from being overwhelmed in national politics. In this election, Trump won 31 states and Harris won 19 and DC. And while Trump did get more votes, it was very close, with him getting just under 51% of the population and her getting just under 49%. You might be wondering if anyone has won the Electoral College but lost the popular vote. Yes, 5 times. The first 3 were all in the 19th century, 1824, 1876, and 1888. Then in 2000, when Bush defeated Gore, and the last was in 2016 when Trump defeated Clinton. No one has been elected twice and lost the popular vote twice. Bush went on to win both the electoral and popular vote against Kerry in 2004, and Trump lost the popular vote and presidency to Biden in 2020, but came back to win both against Harris this year. I hope this does not come across as too dry. I did find a couple of interesting things. Trump is only the second president to have 2 non-consecutive terms. The first was Grover Cleveland. He was the 22nd and 24th president from 1885 to 1889 and 1893 to 1897. He is also one of the 5 people who won the popular vote but lost the Electoral College vote. When he came back, he won it all, meaning he really kind of won 3 times, something that is illegal today but was possible at the time. And that's it for today. Before you go, if you liked the video or learned something, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss anything. And as always, if you have any questions or just want to say hi, leave a comment, or you can find me on social media. There are links in the description. And I'll see you in the next exciting episode of Taiwan in English. Bye.